Hey, Contractors of Colorado. It's your host, Andrew Lavrins, with another episode of the Contractors of Colorado podcast. We've got a returning guest today, which is an exciting twist for us. We're going to start doing more of these. Our guest today is Jordan Davis. She is with the Davis Team Health Advisors. And if you haven't been introduced to Jordan or what she does, check out our first podcast. We go through a full introduction. She tells us a little bit about her personally, and then we dive into all the fun details of health insurance and how she helps our community. How are you doing, Jordan?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's always fun when you're in here. And I know this will come out a little bit delayed, but happy birthday.
You know what? Thank you.
Another year tacked on to your number.
Look, we're not ready for that. We're just always going to stay 30.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we had some cake and we had a lot of fun. So Jordan's just a loved member of our community. If you don't know her, please give her a call and talk about your options and just give her a hard time for me. So what's new in your life?
Not a lot. Just a lot of working and life and kids and work.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's what we do it for.
Yeah. We started this morning off with, I was in Denver and my husband's blowing up my phone because both of truck keys were in my car in Denver and he needed to be work. And Atlee started school in 20 minutes.
Lovely.
So, yeah, it's been a long morning.
Hey.
Not a lot of work, a lot of driving.
Well, it's all fun from here on out. But it's good to have you around. We're going to do something a little different today.
Yeah.
We talked about it a little bit. I want to hear some stories. Good, bad, in between. I mean, the juicier the better. But since the audience already has got to see you and know you a little bit, and you're at a majority of our in-person events. So Contractors every third Tuesday, 7 a.m. Come on to the Business Foundry here in Lone Tree and experience the contractor meetup. Jordan will be here. All the rest of our affiliates will be here. And we pack the room, 80 to 100 contractors looking to meet each other. And it's just a very low commitment. Show up, do your thing, and we'll get you out of here and to the job sites by 9. So
yeah, it's a filled room.
It's a filled room. It's a lot of fun. I think it might be one of the most fun things that we do on a monthly basis around here.
Even though it's at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I get a lot of crap, but it's also the best attended event. And I tried a lot of other times, so 7 a.m. it is.
Yep.
So
nope, absolutely.
Story time. What do you got for us? Anything fun?
I mean, I've got stories. Are we talking like contractor specific stories?
Yeah, if we could start there, keep it in that lane. I mean, if there's any other good stories that are worth telling that just highlight the importance of health insurance. I mean, we've got stories we could share, but we'll tell our audience about
ours.
Yeah, the professional, the contractor side,
Yeah.
And then anything else that you think is relevant. The mic's yours.
Yeah, I mean, I actually had a contractor, I think it was almost 3 weeks ago. He fell off the roof. And he was just up there like checking skylight something and fell off the roof. And he shattered his knee like in pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's going to be a full knee replacement because of a roof fall off. Yeah. But luckily he's going to be out of work for a while, but we've got him on a decent policy where it's all covered for $250 completely.
Nice.
So he's worried that he's going to be broke and not going to be able to like pay for all of this, and on top of not being able to work, but he's going to be out of this with an accident only $250, which is fantastic. The replacement, physical therapy, surgery, follow-ups,
all of it,
x-rays, MRIs, all the fun goodness that comes with accidents. He's going to be out for very little bit of money.
That's awesome.
It sucks for him, but also at the same time, it was a good thing we actually were able to get him into a policy.
Right.
Because that's not always the case.
Yeah. Well, accidents happen. I mean, that's the biggest takeaway from any construction site. If you've ever been on one, you know they can be dangerous. Like there's just it's part of the game.
Yeah.
So having the correct coverage is obviously not just coverage. I think that's something we could talk about a little bit, is coverage versus correct coverage. Do you have any stories of that circumstance where you've been working with guys that come to you and it's too late, or they have the wrong coverage, so they should have had something else?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. It's like, I really wish I would have talked to you guys a month ago or 3 weeks ago or yesterday. I get them all the time. I got a phone call a couple days ago that unfortunately somebody that has cancer that's returned, he didn't sign up for insurance at the beginning of the year. And because of his state, like there's not a lot of options out there right now for him. And so we kind of went through some options and things like that. And I called the hospitals for him to see like what we can do financial assistance wise. But I do a lot of above and beyond just writing a policy, which they enjoy.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm in it, is to help.
Yeah.
I mean, checks are cool, but it's more important that people have the right coverage for me. And unfortunately, he's just in a bad spot and not able to get the treatment he needs and the insurance he needs.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate, and that's why I encourage everybody just to have a conversation with you. I mean, the same goes for our insurance provider. Have a conversation now, and at the very least, get this gut check from a trusted person in our community that's helped out dozens of other contractors that you probably know and rub shoulders with. Why would you pass up an opportunity like that? You've done it for me. You've done it for my family, and the walk away was, hey, this looks good.
Yeah.
I remember when I had policy choices, it wasn't even anything to do with you. I just, health insurance, I feel like I know it, but I know there's nuance and I'm no expert. So I just brought them to you and said, hey, here's my 3 policies that I have available. Which one would you go with? And we talked about timing of things, are there kids in the future? What's going on with the family? Is everybody in good health? And just kind of a consultation on what's a best fit. And it had really nothing to do with you, but thank you, I guess, is my, I have to say thanks for doing that.
I do a lot of policy reviews and just helping people pick the right plans, whether it's something I'm specifically writing or not. I just want to make sure people in the right spot. So whether they're on a group coverage plan or they feel like were able to find it on their own all by themselves, they probably weren't. Yeah. It's probably bad, but let's show it to me and I'll tell you your options and we can just kind of go from there.
Yeah.
But it's always interesting to see what people come up with.
Yeah.
Especially when they show me some health ministry share something. I'm like, there is no legal obligation to pay a damn claim.
Right.
They are not under legal obligation. It is not insurance.
Okay. Well, so that's some nuance there.
Yeah.
I found myself, we've got a few podcasts under our belt. We're like up to 30 or whatever. And I find myself like, I have these tell me more, or let's pull at that thread. I've got my language down and I'm trying to spice it up a little bit so I don't sound like a broken record, but tell us about that.
Tell you more.
We got to change the name of the podcast to tell me about that or say it. So
absolutely. So how some share plans work great for certain families. Some families have just had nothing but horrible experiences. You basically pay into a pot and all that money goes into a pot. And anytime you go to a doctor's visit or you have a medical bill, you're responsible for paying that bill and submitting the receipt into the quote unquote insurance company. And it gets voted on with a board if there's enough money in that pot to pay that claim or to reimburse you.
It's a collective pot from all the members, not an individual savings plan.
No, it's a collective from all the members.
Got it.
Which is why it's so much cheaper than your traditional health insurance, because it's not health insurance. And some people, I've heard amazing things. They had multiple kids and complications during pregnancy, things like that. Some with, major cancer issues. There's a lot of nuances to it, but they're not always good.
Yeah.
And if it goes against their quote unquote religious beliefs, then the claim's going to be denied, even if, you had a 16-year-old that went out drinking one night and they probably weren't supposed to do that. Nobody's supposed to be drinking at 16, but children do. And they're in the hospital for alcohol poisoning. Guess what? That claim's not being covered.
Right.
That's against the religious beliefs.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I was next words coming out of my mouth is these are usually faith-based organizations that do this and that comes with some just catches. I mean, there's circumstances to those programs as well. So just understanding and again, that's why I would encourage any of these contractors to talk to you, because that might just not be something they understand. They might look at the dollar amount of legal health insurance. It checks that box when it comes to the insurability. Am I insured? Yes.
Well, so for contractors, they want something that's actually quote unquote health insurance when it comes to their taxes, because if they have a share plan, they can't write that off on their expenses as health insurance for the year.
Got it.
It doesn't qualify.
Interesting.
As
this
insurance.
Is the gold I'm looking for.
So
Not tell me about that.
yeah, they
elaborate.
Yeah.
I'm switching it up.
You need to have some sort of catastrophic, some sort of like actual health insurance. Share plans do not meet the regulations when it comes to filing taxes of deducting it from your business. And if you're a contractor or you're self-employed, you want all the deductions you can get because running a business and having a family is expensive. So let's not have to spend as much money back on taxes, right?
Yeah.
So if they have a share plan, they can't use it to write off. So, even having just a big old ACA catastrophic, hey, they're going to have $10,000 out-of-pocket max is going to be better than having a share plan.
Good to know.
For most people. But there's a lot of supplemental parts out there and plans you can always add on and things like that to make it cheaper.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily cheaper, but cheaper when something happens.
Right. Well, that's where I would say if you're going to go and even consider that route, how would you even go about that without consulting with an expert? Like I wouldn't even know where to start.
I don't know. If you put your number online, you're going to get called no less than 18 million times.
Yeah.
Over the course of 3 months.
So that's something that's come up in the past when talking about commercial insurance and business insurance. The online world nowadays where you can go in and, my business makes this much money and we do this type of project and hit send, and then they switch you out a quote and enter your payment information and now you're good to go. And then those policies can be, and most usually are, from my understanding from our experts, not at all what you need.
No.
So are we seeing that in the health insurance world as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially mid-year. So anytime outside of open enrollment, and open enrollment's from November 1st to December 15th across all 50 states. Colorado and a couple other states carry it until January 15th. But, to keep it short and simple, November 1st to December 15th, that's when you can enroll in your Obamacare, Biden care, Trump care, ACA, Affordable Care Act. It's all the same thing. You can enroll in those plans to starting the following January. Anything really sold outside of that time frame is mostly going to be limited benefit. So it's not going to be full coverage. There's going to have exclusions and things like that. So you want to make sure that you're talking with somebody that actually knows what they're doing so that you can get the right plan.
Yeah.
Because you don't want a short-term plan. Hey, this plan is going to cover up to $3 million forever. Well, medical bills can't exceed $3 million in a year.
Right.
Let alone lifetime.
Yeah.
So just making sure that they're protected.
That's good to know. Yeah. The process that I'd like to learn more about. This is all gold. This is exactly what I wanted to hear, because these are the things that, like, one, I don't know them. So I'm sitting here in real time just like, oh, okay. That makes sense. I get that. But these are the things that, like, man, when else can you just jump on a podcast, watch for 30 minutes and come away with some of this knowledge? And even if it's just an encouragement to reach out and talk with you, it's like, this is exactly what I wanted to get out of this. So thanks again.
Yeah.
I want to hear more about the process of working with you. So this guy, let's say our friend who fell off a roof and busted up his knee. How did his story, and you don't have to give specifics obviously for confidentiality, but where did he start? How did the conversation go? How does someone start working with you and consulting and ended up in a situation where, when you fall off, if you fall off a roof, hopefully not, you're covered, and then they loop back to you. Just tell us about an experience of working with you.
Yeah. So generally when I talk to somebody, I work by appointment only, so they can go to the website and schedule an appointment. There's 15-minute, introduction ones, there's hour-long ones, and there's just like application ones as well. There's also like a quick little 15-minute current customer questions. So it's peppered in throughout my calendar all day, where it'll have 15-minute intervals if they just have a quick question. So one of those 15-minute intervals, a couple weeks ago, I had a wife schedule. And when I got the phone with her, she's just bawling. Like, something's like, she told me what happened. But generally, once we sign somebody up or we figure out their insurance, they get a very neurotic email with all these tips and tricks and links and how you can select all of this fun stuff that, honestly, to make their lives easier when it comes to actually needing to utilize their insurance. And then, it's pretty simple. They get cards in the mail, and if they need to use it, if it's an accident, I just tell them to go anywhere. Like, I don't care. Just go.
Yeah.
Don't worry about in-network, out-of-network. Just go to the hospital.
Right.
Like, just go.
Yeah.
But there's an app that's in my email that they can download, and it'll tell you all the doctors and physicians and hospitals and facilities around you that are in network, and you can even schedule appointments through them as well.
Very cool.
And it's a free application as well, but it just makes it easy. And anybody with any insurance company, no matter what they have, if they're on their wife's plan, they can still use that app to make sure they're going in network and not going to be out of pocket a lot of money.
Yeah.
which is really great.
It does feel like at times we need to encourage some contractors that get injured on a job site to go and take care of themselves. And a lot of times it comes into my mind when I hear about these situations. I'm like, well, was he insured? Like, I can understand why you wouldn't want to go. Earlier this week, somebody cut off the tip of their finger. I'm sitting in a meeting with the contractor. Oh, I got to take this phone call. It's rang a few times. Steps out of the meeting. Yeah, one of my guys just cut the tip of his finger off. Mm-hmm. Again, it happens. It wasn't any negligence or anything like that. I'm sure we could have been a little more safe in our practice, but again, these things happen.
They do.
So the response was, okay, go to the hospital, go to urgent care, go get help. And he was like, no, I'm good. I'm going to take care of it. And
they're going to super glue it back together because that's what contractors do. They put some peroxide in the wound and then super glue it together.
That's right. That's right.
I've been there myself. My dad did it growing up. My husband glued most of his... My husband's a jackass. He climbed...
Shout out, John.
Yeah. John, you're a jackass. He climbed a dead tree hiking and fell and had a cut this long on his leg, on his upper thigh. You can still see the scar there 10 years later. And he comes back to the house. He's like, okay, don't be mad. Don't be mad. We literally were like, well, insurance is going to be expensive. He was on his dad's plan at the time because he's under 26.
Yeah.
But we cleaned it with peroxide and then poured super glue in it. And I could tell how many contracting jobs he was on when he was doing renovations that peroxide and super glue.
Hey, no comment, I guess, is my response there. Like, hey, you do what you did, and that is what it is.
But at the same time, I also get it. Like, if you feel like your insurance is expensive and you feel like you can't afford it, but yet you're paying for insurance, like, that's when we should have a conversation.
Right.
Like, you're afraid to use it, but you have it. So what's this disconnect? Like, why aren't you using it when you need it?
So let's pick up the conversation at that point. This guy's like, I'm good. I'm not going to go in. Or someone gets hurt, and for whatever reason, their first thought is, oh, let's call Jordan. What are my options? And
They do.
I know they do. And I've seen it. I've been around you. You've had to leave our meetings to have those emergency conversations, which I think is a really cool benefit. Like, you don't get that you're not getting that from the online do-it-yourself.
No.
You're not getting that from anybody else. While it might not be the best practice of you're sitting there bleeding, like look up Jordan Davis on your phone and hit talk.
Yeah.
It's an option.
It is an option.
And what happens when they call you?
It depends. They usually are asking, and I honestly kind of tell them, I was like, if something's happening, call me first because I'm going to give you advice of what you need to do to make sure as much of this is going to be covered as possible. Because a lot of times they don't know where they'll walk in and say the wrong thing, and now all of a sudden it's a claims nightmare.
Yep.
So if we can mitigate those claims nightmares, because I can only handle so many of the claims to a certain extent until the point where it's like, it's just the insurance carrier at that point.
Yeah.
Like, I can fight and mitigate on their behalf as much as possible. But if we can mitigate that portion for them up front, so much better for everybody involved.
Smooth out the process on the front end so that you're not dealing with it in the paperwork and the back end and the insurance companies, which, I mean, we all work with insurance. We know how they are. Yeah. Slow and a pain in the ass. Mm-hmm. So,
well, nobody wants to end up paying out the claims and all that, but holidays, the amount of phone calls I get, I'm frying a turkey and the oil just went all over me, or I stuck something where it shouldn't be to light the firework, and now something's burned that shouldn't be burned. What do I do? And the point where my husband's like, why did they call you about these things?
Well, I'm sure. I think we have time for one more story. If you have any fun, I mean, I've been around some calls where I'm just like, there's no way somebody just called you and said that. Is there any other good stories you've got for us that kind of highlight either working with you, your experience, the benefits of your partnership, or just a good one in general that's worth telling?
Make sure, okay, for the contractors that are making quite a bit of money.
Here we go.
They're making quite a bit of money, and their spouses are enjoying the fruits of their spouse's work, and they go for plastic surgery. Go in the country.
Oh, I know this story.
Yeah, don't go to Mexico to have a BBL done, because you might not come back with all your organs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jordan told this story in the past. You'll never guess what I just got off the phone with. I'm like, what are you talking about? And it's that exact story. One of our clients went down to Mexico to get some work done. It's like, hey, do your thing.
Yeah.
And took the discounted option and woke up without a kidney. Woke up without a kidney.
And the other kidney she actually had was already smaller and underactive since she was born. So they took the good kidney she had. So dialysis for a couple of years before she was able to get a kidney.
Wow.
But depending on, height, weight, ethnicity, and all of that, and blood type plays a factor into like what organs are available to you when you go on that donor list.
Gosh. Yeah, that's not a list I want to be on.
No. I don't want any of my clients to be on the list. So, just make sure you have your plastic surgery done in the States.
Yeah. Be safe. And talk about in-network. Maybe consult your app that they give when they work with you.
Yep, there's an app. There's a lot of resources that I try to give out to make sure that they have everything that they possibly could to prevent the calls to me, because I may or may not be available at the time. I might be on the phone.
Yeah.
So I want them to have resources that they can use ahead of time. But no, I just want to make sure that they're protected and they're happy, and hopefully they can write off all of their insurance. I mean, I myself, my insurance didn't cover half the surgeries and stuff I've done this year.
Right.
But I do run my own business, and it's all going to be an additional write-off for me this year, which is really great. But sometimes things aren't covered. They're never going to be covered if they deem it quote unquote elective, even if it's the matter of, you being a human or not to be able to be around.
Yeah.
But no, being able to write it off is really great, and it's a big benefit for the contractors.
Okay. Well, that's worth knowing for sure. It's worth knowing and looking into and probably implementing for a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
So consult your bookkeeper and your accountants.
Yeah, please. I am not a bookkeeper. I am not a accountant. I am not a financial advisor. If any of you know me, you know that that's very accurate. I'm not these things.
Invest in shoes, I believe, would be your policy.
Yeah, shoes and vacations is where we spend our money. But just making sure that you have what you need when you need it. And it's really simple. I'm happy to have easy conversations and point people in the right direction.
Perfect. Well, I think that's a perfect ending point. It sounds like we're going to be working on our new slogans, like the Davis Team Advisors. Shit happens, something along those lines. So it was an absolute pleasure having you on today. A lot of fun, and I think a lot of really good information for our audience. So we're gonna blast this thing all over and spread the good word about health insurance for you.
Yeah, know what you have. And see if you can actually travel out of state with it.
That's another good point. That's a whole other podcast right there. All right. Well, thank you for being on again, and for everything you do for our community. You're a huge part of everything that goes on around here, and we can't say thank you enough. I know countless people you've helped, and they're all grateful, and they all say the same thing is, man, that one is something. And I'm like, yeah, yes, she is, but also a fiercely loyal friend and a great person to know and have in your back pocket. So thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Awesome. All right, everybody. That's it for today. We'll see you next time. Thanks again. Shout out to our sponsors, the Builders Outlet, doors, cabinets, windows, trim, right by Empower Stadium in Denver. Reach out, let them know the Contractors of Colorado sent you, and they will take care of you. And then, as always, thank you to the Business Foundry. If you need a workspace, if you need a community of entrepreneurs to be around, this is where I spend my time. This is where I hang the business, and we do all of our events. So just a big thank you. That's where we're sitting right now, is this podcast room is in the Business Foundry. So if you want to create content, you want to do anything for your contracting business, reach out to us, and we are more than happy to take care of you. So see you, everybody.